Yes, y'all, you know what it is. It's them kids and wives and 925s, but we are still married to the games. Episode 361. Oh my gosh, who you know do it like this? Amazing. It's your boy Gabe Patillo with Tim Router, Ed Placencia, and Chris McCracken, of course. And as always, we are talking games and life and games. Thank you guys so much for being here. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, man.
And we are here to hopefully make the end of your week a little bit better. It's already Friday, baby.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're waiting through the weekend and you're listening to us on Monday, then, hey, man, let's kick this thing off right?
Here we go.
That's what I think.
Ready.
Eduardo.
Sí.
¿Cómo estás?
Bien, ¿y tú?
Bien.
Oh.
That's as far as my Spanish goes, baby.
Well, I'm glad
Perfecto.
because we reached the end of mine as well.
Yeah.
We finished that race together.
Yeah, until we start doing commercials. I'm like, yo quiero, how your week has been?
Mm-hmm.
I see that in the description. Spanish accent. I'm like, delete.
Exactly right. I'm like, maybe they meant black. Here we go. Record.
Unless you meant
Rastafarian it is.
Let's try.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome.
unless you mean like in the 50s when everyone played Spanish people with no accent, then I could do that.
Exactly. I was like, if
There
they
you go.
just want Ricky Ricardo, I've got a lot of practice with that.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Lucy,
Mm.
are you inviting me to Benjamin again? Okay, all right. How's your week been there?
Good, man. It's been good. I'm telling you, Sarah and I have been on the Borderlands 2
Yes.
train.
Oh, snap. Is she excited about Borderlands 3, or is she like,
Dude.
this is where I want to be at?
She is stoked about it.
Shut
I love it.
up.
Yeah. I mean, I play her the trailers as they come out, and she's just is excited. And,
Oh,
every night, can we play Borderlands 2? And
No way.
we start at 8 and we end at like maybe 3 in the morning.
Oh, my gosh. That is the glorious
you guys
life.
are amazing.
It has been so much fun. It's just been such a good time. And it's great to find a co-op game. Not only a couch co-op game, but also just a huge couch co-op game. I mean, this game is massive, and
Yeah, it's true.
just world after world after world. And this week we started in on the DLCs for Borderlands 2. And we're kind of going through one a night. And we're still, even after hours and hours of playing, we've still got side missions left to do. And just having a great time. And so I'm really looking forward to Borderlands 3. I'm afraid we're going to finish up Borderlands 2 before 3 comes out. So we'll probably have a little bit of a dry spell. But man, it's just been so much fun to just kick back and play games. And what was really funny is that Sarah did a post on social media with a photo of the two of us with the controllers saying,
Yes, that was awesome.
I'm hooked on Borderlands 2. What do you like to play? And I couldn't believe how many of her followers were like, yeah, I love Borderlands 2. I love, like, how many of her Zumba girls were like, I love Borderlands 2. I'm always a siren. Yeah, it was crazy.
Okay, that's a surrise.
That's
Yeah.
a huge
I'm not trying to
surprise.
stereotype, but that's a surprise to me.
It was a surprise to me as well. So it's been a lot of fun. It's been a really, really good time. Just been playing a lot of games this week. Of course, still playing Overwatch. This week, the new character finally dropped, 222. The beta dropped, so you can kind of get into some competitive games. Try out the 222. I did that.
Is it working in just quick play? Because it didn't ask me to do anything when I went into quick play.
No, it's only in competitive. It's in beta still. And then on September 1st, it'll be in quick play.
Do you remember?
The time.
Oh, I was going with the September song. Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
The very first
I mean, honestly,
September.
either one worked. That was the beauty of it. Either one worked. So that worked nice.
September the time.
Jeez.
When we wore our gloves.
It was fun. You can, because now in competitive you can get a score in either tank, damage, or healer. So I kind of did my placement matches for healer tonight. I lost the first 3, won the second 2 or the last 2, And the game does a really good job of, it doesn't judge you on the wins or losses. It judges you on your performance.
Oh, really?
So and it also takes into account kind of your previous games over the last, who knows, they haven't really said, but they've kind of like have kept an eye on your gameplay and stuff like that. And so after my first 5 games, we got slaughtered the first 3. We won the first 2. And in that, just the support, I ended up with the highest ranking I'd ever had previously.
Oh, okay. That's kind of cool.
Done.
So yeah, it's really cool. Now, after you rank up or after you do your placement matches, the next 5 or so you can drop or go get raised pretty drastically until they kind of like narrow it down even more. So it's almost like you're still doing 10. But after 5, you've got your rank. And so it was fun to do. I didn't really play as the new character Sigma, but I played against him and with him. People are still trying to figure him out. And so it was almost kind of like 5v5 tonight rather than 6v6 because the 2 people on each team playing Sigma were just kind of dorking around.
Yeah, why is that guy looking at his feet so much? Yeah.
Exactly. So
he's just staring at the ground. He's like, it doesn't work like that. This game doesn't work like that.
Played a little more of Wolfenstein Youngblood. Still loving that game. Just so much fun. Just like I said last week. Really, really, really enjoying it.
Good. I'm so glad you're liking it.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I just I'm looking forward to being able to play with other people as well. So I still haven't been able to hook up with Jared Orr. Would love to get in some gaming time with him and whoever else has it out there. It's just a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And then, last week we had that question posed to us. If you could have the
We can skip this part of your week update if you want.
We could have the other hosts play a game from start to finish. What would it be?
Yes.
Chris, how was your week?
I said I'm gonna try to honor this.
Yes.
You did, dude.
I did try. And Gabe gave me Final Fantasy X.
For specific reasons, though, not because I think it's the best one.
What were your specific reasons? Let's recap.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Well, remember I was saying it was the first Final Fantasy with voiceover actors, and that was a little shaky. You asked if it held up. I said probably not.
Yeah.
So I want to put all those pre-things out there just real quick. Oh, man.
Right.
Jeez.
Well, now, I will say the first day, the time flew by.
Yes.
I went into it thinking, oh, this is going to be a struggle the whole time. And the time really did fly by. It was it was fun. It was I enjoyed it more than I thought I would, but it's a remaster, but it's still an older game, and you can tell.
Yes.
There are like, if you walk up to something you can interact with, there's no button prompt, so you wouldn't know you could interact with it. Some of the menus were a little hard for me to navigate. It just wasn't the most clear, concise setup in the world.
That's right.
And it was very hard, like you said, to because it's an older game. It's remastered, so the cutscenes are drastically different than the rest of the game.
It's just like they started an MOV file.
Yes, exactly. You can definitely tell what they remastered, and it's funny too because I'm like, wow, they sure did work on remastering these girls. But the guys still have those PS1 faces that are all flat.
Oh, that's
people
awesome.
in the stream were like, they updated those too. So it was really hard for me to not. It was hard for me to get over it. I think it was still just a little too old for me.
That's right.
The second day I had a little bit more of a struggle. I unfortunately did not click with Blitzball.
Yeah.
But you know what? I ended up playing it just under 10 hours.
That's a long time.
It's a long time. And it's funny because Lem said, you've been playing this at the time for 7 hours and you won't give Warframe. How long did you play that? And I said, well, I immediately knew I didn't like Warframe.
He loves that game.
Where this game, I came back to it up for a second day.
Yes, which I was super happy about. I didn't know we were going to make a second day.
Yeah. So I'm glad I put the time in. It was, it's Final Fantasy is supposed to be weird, and I say that after having really enjoyed Metal Gear Solid 5, and that can get weird. But this, I just never knew what was happening. And it's just, I think it's the J in the JRPG that really throws me off.
Oh, that's definitely what it is.
Oh, yeah.
I just don't click with that style and that genre.
Even though you did with Persona.
Yeah, and that didn't.
But that's new.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
it's new.
And
it's a new JRPG, not a 15-year-old JRPG or however old.
That could be it as well. Yeah. So I felt glad that I tried it. Chris had recommended MLB The Show. Originally it was Madden, and I scoffed at that, and he said, "Okay, a sports game. How about baseball?" And
yeah, I wasn't
show.
sure if I misunderstood the question. I interpreted the question as like, oh, pick a game for each of the other people that they'd have to play in this fictitious situation, but that they wouldn't want to play. And then when you scoffed, I was like, well, crap, I don't want to. My intention is not necessarily to do that. I just thought I was following the question. I was like, yeah, if you're actually going to do it, no, play MLB The Show. That way you can be the Cubs.
There you go. And
if it's going to be a sports game,
exactly. And I kind of lumped in Router's suggestion of NHL with this being a sports game.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
I'll play MLB The Show.
You get a pass from me, brother. No problem.
You. I had so much fun today.
Yes,
nice,
you did,
dude.
You had a lot of fun.
My voice is still a little hoarse. I screamed so much. I yelled so much. I had so much fun. We played against. Chris recommended playing against the Sox, so it was kind of like a Chicago battle. We destroyed the Sox, and then I finished out a series with the Texas Rangers. This guy named Cabrera, every time he'd strike out, he'd have words with the catcher. So I made it my goal to every time he was up to bat, I hit him in the head.
Yeah.
And it was just so much fun. I really, really enjoyed it. So it was
nice.
It was a great time. And it was, it's always nice when you go into a game thinking, all right, I'll play this. I enjoy baseball, but I'm not a huge, and just surprised by how much fun you have. So I was just super excited and super happy that I liked the game as much as I did. So thank you guys for both for the recommendations this week. It was on both accounts. It was something new, something I'd never done. On Final Fantasy's account, it was something I probably should have played by now and never did. So thank you to both you guys for the recommendations. And Tim, I will not be playing NHL.
Nope.
Sorry.
No, you get a free pass, brother.
You got a sports game in there.
Yeah, man.
There you go.
You tried both things. That's awesome.
There you go. So yeah, it was a great week for gaming this week.
There you go. Christopher?
Yes.
What? Hello.
Yes.
How's it going?
How's it going? It's fine. How's it going with you?
Good. I haven't done a whole lot since last week.
No?
No. In keeping with the whole kids and wives 9 to 5s part, I no longer have a 9 to 5.
As long as you didn't lose the kids.
For now.
That's true. Granted, I don't have kids, so I couldn't lose them. So I mean, I do have a dog, so I guess that's kind of my kid.
That's right.
I refer to her as my kid. Yeah, so last week, it actually was before we recorded last week, I had lost my job. I didn't want to bring it up because we had a lot of stuff we were talking about, and then obviously we were touching on with all the mass shooting stuff, and I was just like, we got enough heavy stuff to deal with. Let's just hold this off a week. Plus, my wife, being the smart woman that she is and ever thinking about things, kind of made me promise that I wouldn't really do anything about not having a job until Monday.
Yeah.
Take some time, just relax.
Yep.
And I can't really get into any of the stuff. The only thing really that I feel comfortable saying is that it wasn't like a disciplinary thing. I didn't do something wrong.
Right.
I wasn't fired. It just, they made some business decisions, and those business decisions didn't involve me. So, I worked for my previous company for 14 years. So I have not had to look for a job in 14 years.
Right.
So I don't really know what I'm doing right now and what I'm going to do and what direction I want to go. It's kind of strange. Ed had put out on various social medias today, use a movie title that describes your week so far. Yeah. I was like, well, this is not this is not a movie, it's a TV series, but I'm going to say Lost. Because I just don't really know what my next step is going to be. And granted, I'm not I don't mean to paint the picture in that I'm super stressed. At the moment, I am not. It's early still. I'm still in the exploratory phase to figure out what's next, what I even want to do, because I don't really know.
Yeah.
But if we're like a month from now and I'm still in this phase, which, God forbid, I won't be in that situation, but you don't know what the future holds. That's the whole scary part of whenever anybody loses their job, which fortunately for the last 14 years, I haven't had to deal with anything like that.
Right.
You don't necessarily know. Nothing is for sure.
Yeah.
So we will just see.
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah,
particularly
man, that's all you can do.
looking forward to the next few podcasts with my weekend update because I don't know what I'm going to be saying. And I don't want to, it's probably going to be short and sweet. But we'll just, we'll see how it goes and we'll figure something out.
Yes, you will.
At the end of the day, it really doesn't matter to me. I mean, yes, I want to do something that I enjoy and I want to do something that, makes me happy.
Sure.
But being, the consummate family man that I am, my first priority is to help take care of my family. And if that means I've got to go, be a checker at Target, that's what it means. And I'm not saying it's going to get to that point, but I'm just saying if it had to, I'm willing to do whatever's, needs to be done kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So this might be a strange way to phrase this, but fortunately for us, we're not in a situation where I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 kids to care for. So that makes it a little bit easier.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still the kind of situation where, I'll figure it out. But at this time, I'm kind of like, I don't really know. Yeah. And, Dallas is not Hollywood. I did video production for those who may not have been aware. Dallas is not Hollywood, but Dallas is a very saturated market in the television and film, or video realm.
Yeah.
So we just got to kind of figure out what's going to happen. And I'll keep you guys updated, obviously, you guys in particular, but also the audience as well as to how things are going. But, this is real life. And this is the way, that's what our show's all about. And we've had, unfortunately, a lot of people in our community that have dealt with situations very similar to this, in the, past couple of years. And, nobody's immune to it. It happens to everybody. And it just, whatever the case may be, it came my turn to deal with this. And the one thing that I will say is that outside of just a moment ago when I mentioned about, Stacy's wisdom on, take this first week and just don't worry about anything. Just relax, almost take it like it's a vacation. Just kind of try to clear your head and everything. The really great thing is that Stacy has such an unwavering faith in me, which is great because I don't. I mean, it's weird because I have faith in my abilities, but I don't have faith in that. Or not, I guess that's not the right way to phrase it. Not that I don't have faith, but it's just the unknown is scary, as most people can assume.
And you haven't had to do this in 14 years.
She just has so much faith. She's such a rock solid. Whenever I'm wavering in my I don't really know, she just totally props me up.
Yep.
And that's, clearly that's how it should be. And I'm just so lucky to have her. And I'm so lucky that, I have the support of, her and my family and, you guys. And then, I did mention it in the Discord over the weekend. Just said, hey, give you guys a heads up, but I'm going to be mentioning this on next week's show. And just in the Real Talk channel, I mean, I've just gotten a lot of support there and the community's been great so far. And, we'll get this figured out. I feel the more days that go by, it gets easier and you realize okay, pieces are being kind of put into place here and you can kind of figure it out. But in the initial happenings, as you might expect, it's just, especially because it wasn't necessarily something I was expecting per se. It just, it's a bit crazy.
Yeah, you're still in the shock phase, I think, for a little bit, and that's fine. You're allowed to be. And Stacy said exactly that. I mean, that's perfect. Take some time, don't do anything, and relax. And I think that's amazing advice.
That's one of the first things I thought of was when you told us about that, Chris. The first thing I thought was, I'm so glad he has Stacy.
Right.
Because she is the best partner you could ask for in that situation. And I knew she would react exactly the way she did. I'm so glad that you have her.
Yeah. It's definitely a huge blessing for me in particular. Not just, throughout our entire marriage, but in this moment in particular, or this time period, I guess I should say in particular, is she's the strength that I needed to have.
Yep.
And so it's definitely been super helpful. And we'll see where it goes. Hopefully next week I'm like, oh my gosh, things are moving a mile a minute and everything's great, but reality is likely to not be that. It's probably going to take some time. And I understand that. And I know, and we'll just see how it goes, and I'll keep you guys updated.
Yeah,
not just
do.
you guys on the on the cast, but also the community and everything, and let y'all know how it's going and whatnot. And the one thing that I will say is I've gotten really used to not getting up early. That's been pretty nice.
Nice.
I've never been able to sleep past I could get to 8 o'clock. I woke up at like 9:30 a couple of times. I'm like, wow, this is kind of cool.
Come on over to the dark side, Chris.
Of course, it's one of those things I can't allow myself to really get used to. But in the moment,
you never know.
You gotta look for them silver linings, and that's kind of a nice thing.
That's a great silver lining.
So yeah, that's been great. On the gaming front, I really haven't played a ton. I've definitely been when I have played, it's been Apex Legends. I did jump into a little bit of Overwatch when Sigma dropped, just a little bit. Played about a few rounds. I did get to play as Sigma. Right now, I'm not really, he is what he is. I'm not really that interested in playing him. Part of it definitely is that I haven't quite figured him out and how best to utilize him. Yeah. I remember it took me, it was like months and months, may have even been the first year before I ever really felt like I kind of wrapped my head around like using Winston and a couple of the other tanks. So I know that time may come, and I'm sure that there are going to be changes and tweaks as it goes along. I'm sure I'll get them figured out, but just right now and of what I've played, I don't really think like he's going to be one of those tanks that I gravitate towards.
Yeah.
Right.
But he's probably going to be kind of like Hanzo. Like, that's great. I want to have a really awesome Hanzo on the team, but at the same time, I don't want to play as Hanzo. So I kind of feel like it's going to be something like that. Where like, awesome. If he's really helps out the team, great. Let's have an awesome Sigma on the team, but I just don't know that it's going to be something that I gravitate towards.
And what's his play style like, Chris? Just for those of us, like I wanted to hop in there last night, but didn't get the opportunity to. I know he's a tank, but what else is going on with him?
Well, so his only real weapon is these two kind of, I'm going to call them orbs. They're kind of in like a little bit of a shell, and he shoots them out. They don't go so in comparison to another character that uses orbs like Zenyatta, Zenyatta's orbs go as far as you throw them. His only go a certain distance and then they explode. So you don't have really a lot of range.
Interesting.
And then it's a slow weapon because you only have two of them and you throw them out and then they regenerate, and then you throw two out and then they regenerate. And so he feels a lot more like a, kind of like an Orion, or not Orion, Orisa and a Reinhardt, where because he can throw out his shield goes out super fast and you can put it almost wherever you want. To me, it just feels like his playstyle is going to be more defensive and just like, throw out the shield, do a little bit of extra damage while the rest of your team's doing damage just to kind of maybe help finish somebody off. His ultimate, I've only earned it like twice in the game that I played, so I don't really quite understand how to use it, and I didn't play any other games where anybody was using him to real effective. Like Ed said earlier, a lot of people are trying to figure him out. So it's not like I've seen a really awesome play with his ultimate where I'm like, oh, now I kind of get it. So that's still kind of to come, but he's just very, very slow. Not necessarily in his movement, but in the amount of damage he can do and how quickly he can damage somebody. His ball, where he like grabs all these pieces and creates a ball and then throws it out, it seems kind of cool. But again, it seems situational. It doesn't seem like something you can really rely on. And I just tend to like characters that I feel like I can help do damage, and like that in my play style, that's how I feel like I'm helping my team, other than like if I'm a healer kind of in the healing realm. And I just don't feel like I can do adequate damage with them, or it takes me forever to do it and I just get impatient.
Right.
So I'm not sold on him. I mean, I don't feel like I'm going to play him a ton, but I'm definitely going to play him more so I can help figure him out. And who knows, maybe a month down the road, I'll be like, oh, I've kind of figured him out and now he's really awesome.
Yeah.
I know I spoke to a couple of other people, and some people think that he's like so strong, almost to the level of OP, and like I'm not there at all. But I'm glad that they kind of see that and they can kind of figure him out. But we'll just have to see. I definitely need to give it a little bit more play time, or at least play with a group where somebody's really good with him and kind of observe and see like, oh, okay, that's how you do it, or maybe jump on YouTube and try to get some tips and tricks with him. But outside of that, it's been just when I've been able to jump into some gaming. I've done some Apex Legends. Almost done with the Battle Pass, Season 2 Battle Pass. I reached over 100, so it tops out at 110, so I'm like at 104, something like that.
Nice.
So almost there at the end of that.
Did you get some solo wins?
I've only jumped into solos twice. The first time I did it, I got to 5th place, and then the second time I jumped in there, there's another event, a mini event going on during Season 2 right now called like the Iron Crow or something like that.
Yeah.
and they have all these different challenges you need to do. And one of them was to land in this specific area and get kills. So I went into solos just because I thought it'd be simpler. And I just dropped in this area and was trying to kill people and then died. You know, I wasn't really trying to win solos. We'll definitely be jumping back in there. I would like to get at least one win. One thing that I will say is that even in other battle royales that I've played, I've never been like super great at solos. Solos kind of really stresses me out.
It's stressful, boy.
The thing about squads outside, like even if you're not playing with people that you can chat on the chat with, if I'm playing with randoms, at the very least I can use them as bait, and I can like use them to like take people's attention, and then I can clean up and finish up the kills. So solos, you obviously don't have that unless you're playing Mirage and throwing out your bamboozle or something like that. So it's definitely more stressful. I just don't know that I can play it like for hours on end, but I think it's just a little too much stress for me. It makes me a little too anxious. But I'm definitely going to get in there a few more times and give it some more goes. And I'm hoping to get at least one of the wins before the event's done. I really do think that they're going to end up keeping it or bringing it back relatively quickly because so many people seem to be really enjoying it. There was this weird exploit that was going on at the moment, and I think they've actually patched it out. So that seems to be cool now. But a lot of people seem relatively happy with it. So, you know, good for them. I'm glad that the people who are clamoring for some kind of solo action finally have the ability to be able to do that. In Apex, that is.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And that is all she wrote for me.
There you go.
Nice.
Tim Router.
Yes, sir.
What you got?
Well, let's see. It was Piper's first day of school, as it was with your children as well, I'm sure, in half of the South. School started on Friday for her, half day, which I think is so annoying. But we are now in our first, heading in our first full week, and she's doing great. Her teacher's great. She loves her teacher. So life is good on the school front, and it's nice to kind of get back into routine now, which is really nice. So that's been really good. It was really funny. So Keith, my brother-in-law, had his surgery on his heel on Friday, and thankfully, and while everyone was posting their first day of school with all their kids with these little banners, he posted him outside in a wheelchair with a little banner that says first day of surgery, and it had like little stars and hearts around it. It was perfect because funny. it was totally mocking like everybody who was doing the first day of school thing. So it was really great, but the surgery went well. He was in there for about 3 or 4 hours. They put a plate in, 3 screws. So he's bionic now, which is really cool. I hope he has superpowers. And now it's just the healing process. He's definitely a lot more mobile now. I think a lot of the swelling's gone down, but it was his birthday yesterday. So we went over and hung out with him, and he looks good. I think he's in good spirits, and now the healing process begins. So I'm thrilled for him. So that was good. Lauren was out of town over the weekend and through today. Right. She just got back today. So Piper and I were supposed to have danger camp. And of course, it kind of turned into more cheer camp because apparently there was basically something that was related to cheer almost every day this past, like Saturday, they had a pool party for the cheer team. And then exactly. And I'm like the only guy there. And all the cheer moms are in the shade, and I'm boiling in 95-degree heat by the pool. So that was fun.
Of course.
And then like they start practice on Sundays now. She had practice on Monday. So it really there wasn't a whole lot of danger camp going on at all. The only danger we really had was we had some serious thunderstorms.
Yeah, we did.
The past 2 days. And we were driving through them yesterday, getting down to Keith's for his birthday. And there's just thunder and lightning everywhere. So that's pretty much the extent of our danger camp. But yeah, it was good. And it's nice to have mommy back now. And so we're all together. And but I always have a good time with Piper. We just kind of relaxed, and it was a lot of fun. On the gaming front, after we recorded last week, I basically stayed up and platinumed that Spider-Man, baby. So I got my platinum trophy. I stayed up till about 3 o'clock in the morning doing it. The great thing was I didn't have a ton to do, so I think I pre-planned pretty well. There were a few things that I was just like, a couple of the trophies were still hidden. So I did go and at least look them up to see what they were. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then I ran and did that. And so good. That game was great. I'm so proud and happy to get that platinum.
Nice.
So
nice.
That was really, really
what
great.
What a game.
Yeah, nice. It's got something for everybody. And it was
Do you
perfect.
have a favorite Spider-Man suit?
Dude, I was using the Black Widow suit the whole time. I freaking loved that suit. It was really cool.
Nice.
So, I really enjoyed that one. In preparation, as Eduardo said, in preparation for Borderlands 3, I decided to fire back up Borderlands 2 as well and started playing that. And I'm really excited. I didn't go commando class this time. I went with Gunzerker. So totally different. Like I kind of missed my turrets. I may switch back. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
But it's still a lot of fun. The art style is so much fun. All the guns. Like I'm just loot collecting everything I can. And then so I've been doing some of that, but then I get back into Overwatch and it just keeps sucking me back in. And this week I fell in love. I fell in love with a girl named Moira, and I freaking love her. She is my new queen.
Tell me, man, redheads.
So yeah, right.
Oh my gosh, redheads.
I am having so much fun with her, and I'm actually like doing pretty well with her. A lot of teammates are giving me endorsements. I'm getting gold medals.
Yeah, man.
She is, I think, everything that was missing in my Overwatch life, because I'm not a tank person. Like I don't usually go out and charge. I'd rather be support. And she's the perfect support because she can stay with the group, heal, and then go in and do some serious damage. And I absolutely love her. So I am all Moira all the time now. It is so much fun playing her.
I'm loving that.
I love that. I was able to hook up with you, Tim, and I hopped on as Mercy, and I'm like, dude, you go have fun.
I was like, thank you. Here we go.
I got this. Yeah.
It was freaking awesome. Yeah, we had a good time playing that. So I was really enjoying it. Like you, Chris, I played Sigma. I still had like one or two more wins before my loot box for the season. So I went in and we ended up doing some no limits. So there was like 3 or 4 Sigmas out there. So I was kind of watching other Sigmas as well, trying to figure out what they were doing and see what was going on. I mean, for me, I feel like he's kind of just a shield defensive character. So he'll throw his shield out there. Everybody kind of rallied around, and then you just start throwing your little orbs, and then you can stun them with that gravity ball that throws out. But I'm like you. I'm like, he's not really doing a whole lot for me. I've played against a few of them too, and it's the same thing. Like I think some people are still trying to figure it out.
Let me ask you a question for those of you guys who've tinkered. From what you're saying, and maybe I'm totally off with this, but it sounds like he's nothing we haven't seen before. He's just like amalgamation of a couple. Does he feel like that? Like he doesn't feel brand new?
I think that's a good assessment.
When people figure him out, I think he's going to wreck shop.
Oh, really?
I do think
he's going to be like a Doomfist, where when you meet a good one, it's going to be like, I don't know how to stop this guy.
Wow.
I do think that his ultimate is going to be really strong, especially when people figure it out. It's going to, when you get into overtime and your team is basically hovering around the point, his ultimate is going to decimate.
Now, what's his ultimate again? Sorry, I missed that somehow.
Kind of like Doomfist. It's a big circular area. He lifts everyone that's in it up, and then he slams them down. And when the slam down, when you're lifted up, you can take damage from the other team. And then when he slams you down, you get whatever your max health is, you get half of that in damage.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's definitely powerful.
Yeah, if you're less than half full on your health, you're dead.
But it's also keeping in with the Doomfist kind of analogy. It's similar to that, where like Doomfist, when he's doing his ultimate, his area lights up and you know that's where he's going. So you have a little bit of time to try to get out of it. It's kind of similar with him, where he'll pick an area and it takes a minute for it to activate. So if you have awareness, you can potentially get out of the way if depending on what's going on. Yeah. So that's why I'm saying, like, a lot of times in overtime in particular, your team's like huddled around the point because they're trying to keep you off of it and keep you from finishing. Yeah. And you really can't remove yourself from it, otherwise the other team wins. So that's where I feel like he's going to be great at with that ultimate in particular, with like finishing out in overtime.
Yeah.
But outside of that, again, I'm in agreement with Ed. I think people are going to figure him out, and when you run into the person who's really great with him, it's going to be totally amazing. But I just don't think most people are going to really figure him out that well.
Yeah, he's a very skill-based character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see.
It'll be interesting because I did the same thing. I saw that red orb, and when I was Moira, I phased out, so I was able to get away from his ult. But yeah, I think you're right. I think when it comes to overtime and when you're grouping up on the point, that's where he's really going to be powerful, and that's what you have to look out for. But yeah, right now he's kind of a meh for me. So not really playing them. Go ahead.
When you're in overtime, when he does his ult, if you're on the payload and he lifts you up, you're lifted up long enough for overtime to run out, which is
interesting.
I think it takes you off the point technically.
Right.
Yep. Yeah, so that might come in
especially
handy
the fast
in a couple
overtimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Yeah, that sounds about right. So, but anyway, kudos to them, man. They're constantly bringing out new heroes. So we'll see how he goes and go from there. But Blizzard, man, at it again. That and in Clash Royale, and I have a new goal, and it's my competitive nature as well, Gabe. But I'm just trying to beat you every day now. That's my goal.
Really?
In the clan rankings, I see you. I'm like, not today, boy. Let's go.
Are we close?
I think I'm ahead of you right now.
Oh, snap.
But like, I look on the rankings, I see you, and if you're like within 20 points, boom, I go into a battle and see if I can get above it. Because I've never been like this up high before in Clash Royale. So now, like, nobody's gonna touch Stancil. Stancil's like in his own dimension in our rankings because he's nuts. But
and he hasn't changed that deck in forever.
I know, and he is slaughtering everybody. He's like 200 points ahead of the second place person. So it's like, it's insane. Yeah, but it's just my little thing of like, oh, there's Gabe. Let me see if I can beat him.
That's how Ed was on Clash. What was it?
Yeah,
Ed? Candy Crush.
It was on Candy Crush. So I'm coming for you on Clash Royale.
Gracious.
It's so funny because I'm like, and then what'll happen is, and this is what happened at the end of the season. It's like you were right there. I went on like a 7-game losing streak and totally dropped out. I'm like, curse you, Gabe. You started this. It was so awesome. But I'm still that game's so much fun. I'm enjoying it.
Video games are so great.
Yeah, it's amazing. But that is it for me, Mr. Patillo. Talk to us, man. What you got?
Done traveling. Well, I think I have like 2 weeks at home or something like that. So that's kind of nice. Just so Jenny could put me to work.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. And so we've been just doing a lot of stuff around here. We've got a trip to New York coming up at the end of this month. And so
nice. We
are trying to get a guest room together because all the kids have been wanting to sleep in the same room together. And so they've been all sleeping in the same room. So we were like, oh, that kind of, because we have a small house with a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house. And so we were like thinking about making that one into a guest room. So when our moms come and stay the night or stay multiple days, they're going to split up the time when we're gone. And so, we're just trying to kind of like when Ed and Sarah came and stayed with us a couple years ago, we we're like, oh, we don't have a guest room. Let's make a guest room real quick.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Yeah, so that's what we're kind of doing right now, and so working hard on that. Let's see. As far as gaming goes, I mean that doggone Apex, man, and it definitely like crushed my spirits to watch Ed play because it was kind of like Chris was saying, like I wasn't really expecting Ed to play it. But if I had to choose one, then that's the one I want to choose. Just because I didn't think it was terrible, but I was like, oh man, he'll never play a Final Fantasy. And then when he's like, I'm gonna try all these games out, I was like, oh shoot, yeah, right. This ain't about to be good. You know what I'm saying? And making fun of the game the whole time. And I was like,
that's awesome.
That's like I told Sarah, I was like, even if I hate this, I'm gonna have fun.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's been fun. I already like watching Ed on Twitch, but it was fun watching him play like a game I enjoyed when I was younger and stuff like that. And so, and you kind of watch it with one eye open, like, oh gosh. And every time they speak, you're like, oh shoot. Like, I don't know why I was embarrassed. I didn't make the game. But it's just hard when you got a buddy playing a game that you wanna play, or that you said he should play. I did finish Detroit.
Yes, you did.
Oh, nice.
Oh man! So me and Ed have talked a lot this last week since last time we've talked, and so killed somebody, and I was pretty upset about it.
Oh no,
man! I wish you would just tell me right now.
I mean, it's not a sport. This is the way I'm gonna look at it. If you haven't played Detroit, you might not get the same ending as me.
Exactly. It's a
choose your own adventure.
It's very choose your own adventure. So I'm going to say who died.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't want to even hear, let me say this. Here's your options. everybody can die.
Yep.
Some people can die, or everyone can live.
Yep.
And so me saying what I'm about to say doesn't spoil anything. It's just what happened for me.
Yep.
I killed the little girl on accident.
On accident?
You killed her on accident.
You accidentally, maliciously killed her.
Like she died. It wasn't by my hand, but there's sometimes you're making decisions quick now.
Yep.
And so, I had to make some quick decisions. And
that text from you was hilarious.
I was so mad, you guys, because what I've told Ed, and I don't know if I said this on the show, but me and Ed talked a lot about the game off cast because he platinumed it, and he's done like almost every tree that's imaginable on the game. And so, he was the guy that I needed to call to talk to about it. And the way I wanted to play the game was true to each person. And so even though my personality might not link up with a certain character, I still wanted to play out what their story I felt like should be. And so, Connor, who's the cop, I'm trying to play as the cop, even when they kind of pit him against one of the other characters that you're playing. I'm like, no, I'm playing him like he's supposed to be played. And then, Kara, who's the android that's taking care of the little girl, Alice, who died. I'm playing that one as like I'm doing my best to keep Alice healthy and alive and not cold, unless I needed her to be cold, and fed and all those things. And then Marcus, who is probably the furthest away from my personality because he wanted to kind of do this uprising. It's in the demo, it's in the thing they showed at E3. I'm not spoiling anything, but his whole thing was like equality for androids, and you can go the violent route or you can go the peaceable route. And what I told Ed was, I was like, I'm trying to play Marcus like he's Martin Luther King, because I felt like MLK had good ideas. He would do things non-violently, but that would just make you think, or would, kind of mess with the system a little bit in a legal way. So I just tried to play him like that. And everything turned out great with Marcus and with Connor.
Yeah.
That little girl, though, man, shoot. And what's funny? I feel like I jinxed myself almost because I kept telling Ed, I want to keep the big three alive. I want to keep the big three alive. I want to keep the big three alive. Well, I kept the big three alive. It was the little fourth one.
Man, I know you can't talk about it, but I want to know where she died.
At the very end. After she died, it went to the credits.
No,
that's how
way.
At the end it was.
Wow.
And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. Because sometimes you make decisions and you think something's going to happen, but then it doesn't. Or, just like dumb luck. You're like, oh, this, somebody ran out the house and punched this person that was about to shoot me. And so I was really hoping that, because the story was, anyway, Alice is dead, y'all, man.
Yeah. So sorry, bro.
And I'm the parent.
Was anyone watching when it happened, when it went down?
So this is what's funny. So I was playing it on the road, and like I told you guys, I started at golf camp and people were all enthralled with it. And then we had a hotel in one of the cities when we were in West Virginia, and I had set up in there and was playing it, and a buddy was sitting. So one of me and Tim, our guitar player, one of our things on the road is if we get a hotel and I bring my console, I game while he ties flies, because he's a fly fisherman and he ties his own flies and he's really good at it. So he sets up a table next to me where I'm gaming, and he ties flies and I game. And it's just like a peaceful time, and we talk and joke around, and I play video games, he ties flies. We're both doing the things we love to do. And there was one point where he goes, I'm sorry, this is the best video game I've ever seen, ever. And I was like, I know, right? And so I'm playing all the way up with him. He's helping me make decisions. I'm like, I don't know what to do. He's like, I mean, you know me. I mean, I'm an emotional cat. I would do this. And so we would go back and forth, and he would help me make decisions and blah, 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 blah. But the very end, I was by myself. And Tim had gone fishing. And so when Tim came back, he was like, dude, I had an awesome day. And I was like, really? He's like, man, I was out there by myself. The weather was incredible. I was catching fish left and right, blah, 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 blah. I was like, oh, man, that's awesome. He's like, how's your day been? I'm like, man, I lost a little girl, man. He goes, no. The little girl that you were watching that you got away from her father that was abusive? I was like, yes, that girl.
Oh, no.
I lost her, man. He's like, he covered his mouth. He goes, I'm so sorry. It was like somebody really died. Like if somebody was listening to our conversation.
That's amazing.
You would think like Amara was dead. Like I lost her, man. I don't know.
Oh my God.
And then one of my other buddies that watched at the golf camp, he kind of like overheard. He's like, wait, what happened? And and I filled him in, and he was like, no. And I was like, man, I tried my hardest. I thought I was.
I have no idea how I made it through with everybody alive. I really don't.
It's because you're a beast, man.
No, I'm really not.
You're going to drag us across the finish line.
I think back at decisions I made, I was like, how did that turn out good?
That's what I'm saying. You never know with some of these decisions that you're making how things are going to go. And and it went south, man, quick. Real quick as we were heading north. Anyway.
So is this your next game, Router?
Sure.
You need to play it. It's so good.
You added it to your library or whatever when it was PS Plus, yeah?
He did.
Or is it still PS Plus? I don't remember.
I don't know. I'll have to look.
I think it's off now. I think that was last month.
I think it's off.
I have a physical copy though, because I had bought it, and so you need to.
You're not going to play it again and get different endings?
No, man.
No,
yeah, me neither, man.
I did,
you can't go through that emotional drama
again. I was so stressed the whole time. I was calling Ed like, how do I not run into the father again? I just need you to tell me how to not run into him. He's like, man, you might see him, you might not. That's the thing with this game. You might not. I did.
Wow.
Anyway. Oh,
that's great.
I did do something though that has never happened before.
Oh.
And it happened tonight.
Oh.
I have come on this podcast and talked about how Chris McCracken, like I just said, is a beast at first-person shooters. He's better than me. He just knows how to read the room well. He knows how to react quickly. He knows what gun he's using. I'm like, oh, shoot, sorry, I have my sniper rifle out. Like, kind of thing. That's kind of stuff happens to me. So I was playing with Chris and Kale tonight right before the show.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. And again, I am the weak link when it comes to us three. Chris, come on now. I'm not like trying to butter anybody else. Let me say this. Maybe I'm not like way worse than everybody else, but like out of the three, if you were to rank the three of us, I would be third. It's just the truth. So we're playing tonight, having fun. Not really, because we kept dying real quick. But we had one more game before we had to do the podcast.
Yeah.
And Chris and Kale both went down. And then they were like, so in Apex, you can go down and you can crawl around and your guy can revive you. Or they kill you all the way and you got to pick up their banner. You got to take it to a respawn point and then they respawn, right? So they were in there like coffins. And I'm like, this is not going to happen. But I was like, let me just run around and just see. And we're like getting attacked from like 6 different people. It's going down. I'm like, I'm gonna run and get Chris. So I like run and get his banner. And I think that I can get Kale's banner if I like turn invisible and run down here. I'm playing as Mirage for those that play Apex. And you can't pick up banners while you're invisible. You gotta like not be invisible. Anyway, I didn't know that. So I'm like in the midst of like 3 or 4 people. Guess how many bullets I have? The answer is 0. And so
no.
I can't even shoot back. And so I've played with Chris enough to know his tone. Chris's tone when I said, oh, I can't get you. I got to jump over this wall. I'm getting shot. I'm zigzagging. You remember how Chris Tucker ran in Rush Hour 2 when he was getting shot at? That's I'm trying to run like that. I'm trying to jump over walls. And Chris goes, man, you just got to get out of there, man. And so Chris's tone told me we might as well just start over. This game's done. I've heard him feel like this many a time. I've felt like that many a time. We've played so much together and we've both gone down and had a third and we were like, this game's over. This guy's not going to be able to pull this off. And I don't even know how.
I got to be clear though. It's not that I had lack of faith in game. Like literally there was like 6 people around. In every direction, there's a person there shooting at the man. It's like, unless you can like go Matrix and dodge bullets. Yeah. How's this going to work?
You have to go Matrix and dodge bullets.
I guess so.
So that's what I did. I went as Matrix as I could.
Amazing.
And I got down to Chris, tell me if I'm exaggerating. I got down to what, a sliver of health?
Mm-hmm.
A sliver.
I think out of, I don't remember what the total, maybe it's 200, let's just say. You were at 5 or less.
Wow.
Right. And so I'm just running. Kale's coaching me. Chris is quiet because he doesn't feel like this is going anywhere. and Kale's like, hey, go over to this place. I'm like, all right. I'm running. I have no health still no bullets. Finally find some bullets and things like this. We're trying to get it together. And we just kind of see the number clicking down. Like, oh, there's only 5 squads left. Oh, there's only 4 squads left. Oh, there's only 3 squads left. Oh, there's only 2 squads left. You know, me and somebody else. And I revive Chris.
Mm-hmm.
He flies in. I don't know what happened, but I took that whole last team out by myself.
He did.
Yeah,
Dude,
buddy.
did you save it?
Way to go,
All
man.
by himself.
And we got the win, baby.
Nice.
It was
Congratulations.
incredible. Oh,
Yeah,
it felt so good. I was
amazing.
like, this is what Chris feels like. This is what it feels like to be a redhead.
Yeah, jeez. I was playing as this character, Bloodhound, and his ultimate, basically, his vision goes black and white, and he could see, like, trails of footsteps where people had been, and they're outlined in red in the map, so it makes them easier to spot. I spotted this dude up on the ledge. I'm trying to shoot him, and I'm pinging him like, here he is, because, you know, I have a slightly better visibility just because I have that mode.
Yep.
I'm like, he's right here. He knocks me down, like, right away.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right.
You respawn with like no armor and just your health.
Yeah.
Chris doesn't have a gun or anything.
So I engaged that mode to try and like at least be able to spot. And then I was like, all right, it's up to you. I crawl behind this ledge. I'm like, maybe he can come get me and I can try and like punch my way to help him out or something. He starts to get me up and then somebody comes around and starts shooting him. He backs off and then he's like, you know what? Let me just, it sure is cold out here and I'm going to make it warm. And he goes and just makes it happen.
Nice.
And that was the only win I've had all day. And I've struggled so much today. I've had so much bad time like playing the game today. Like the game beat me down today. I just could not do anything right. And I was like, hallelujah. I got a win, and it's at the hands of my man Gabe.
That's awesome.
It was amazing.
It was. I didn't know it was your only win.
So great.
But what's funny is right when we started playing, Chris goes, "Man, I don't think I should play. I should just take a break or something." Like he was so beat down by the game.
I did.
And he streamed today, and you know, the stream wasn't good.
I deleted the video on demand because, like, nah, man, I ain't having that stuff on there. Nah. And it's not even just a matter of like, oh, I played badly, because you know that's fine. That happens. That's reality. That's not. But like, I was losing my mind. I was like, no,
No.
I can't. And like, I wasn't like cussing up a storm or nothing. But I'm like,
I can't
why
let my
are
mama
you?
see this.
What the? But why? And I'm like, nah, man, I don't want people seeing that. Nobody needs to watch that. It's a good thing there was only viewer that popped in was Gabe at one point. And I hope he didn't stay around because his eyeballs probably hurt.
Gabe, I hope you clipped the crap out of that.
No, I couldn't stay long, but I saw that he was streaming, so I just popped over to say hi real quick, and I definitely caught some frustration.
I'm not even making a joke and trying to be silly. That was the highlight of my day. Was Gabe popping up just seeing video games like, oh, someone I like. This is amazing. Because I do not like any of these people that I'm playing with right now. I should move to solos, but can't take the anxiety.
Yeah. So anyway, today was a good. We finished on a high note. I'm so glad to hear that it was your only win of the day. That's so great. Oh my gosh. Okay.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was great.
That's incredible.
And we've talked for a long time about our week. Sorry. I didn't think I was going to say anything. I was like, oh, I got 2 things though. Oh,
That's really
man.
great.
Router.
Yes.
You got it?
Yes.
Well, let's do it.
New releases are slim this week. We have
the calm
and this
before
will
the
be
storm.
for the kids on the Switch. Friday the 13th, the game Ultimate Slasher Edition.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That's out this week. And No Man's Sky Beyond for the PC, PS4, and Xbox One.
Which is supposedly looking very promising.
That's what I heard.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. I've heard a lot of great things about it too.
They were saying that it's finally gonna be the game we've always wanted it to be.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're saying. You
I've heard the same kinds of stuff.
2-3 years later.
Yeah, I mean,
That's fine.
yes, but still, people are like, if they can pull it off, it will be amazing. And so,
yeah, that's cool.
That's kind of exciting.
Yeah, good on them. That's awesome. We did have one oops, Nick Fallhaber. The first Xbox game with crossplay was the Shadowrun first-person shooter, which launched with crossplay between PC and Xbox 360 in 2007.
Well, that doesn't count.
But even earlier than that was the Sega Dreamcast, which had crossplay with a handful of PC titles like Quake 3 Arena
That's
and
true.
Phantasy Star Online in the late 90s.
That's true. That's a bigger deal.
I threw that out there because that's a nice little history lesson right there. That was nice, Nick. Thank you for that. We appreciate it.
Yes.
That is it for me. Back to you, gentlemen.
Chris McCracken.
So, speaking of Apex Legends.
All right.
Yes.
Ajax Legends.
Apex Legends is a game. Yeah, Ajax Legends. Apex is a game that, is very popular across multiple consoles and multiple platforms, so to speak. But one of those is PC. And on PC, as you know, because it's a little bit of Wild Wild West, you got cheaters.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
And so it turns out, so according to Sophos, which is a company that monitors like malware and has different kind of monitoring things that you can do, a lot of corporations use it and does some malware like sweeping of your system to find out what's on there. It turns out a lot of the cheaters in Apex Legends and Counter-Strike Global Offensive, when they downloaded these cheats, they were actually downloading malware as well that was stealing all of their identity.
Wow.
And it turns out that the malware, which is named Balder by its creator, was very efficient at extracting sensitive data from infected users, such as credit card information, login credentials for shopping services like Amazon and PayPal, credentials for Battle.net, Steam, Epic Games, and other identity information.
Jeez. Wow.
Dude, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's really crazy. And Sophos says that it would scrape and steal any credentials, cookies, or cache data and resellable value in a matter of seconds.
Oh my gosh.
And it was the files that people were going to name down, like for instance on CSGO, it was aimbot plus wall hack. And on Apex Legends, one of the files that was very popular that was downloaded was new cheat 0.2.1, the security firm says.
Wow.
And so, look, it sucks to have your identity stolen. And, you know, it's not the kind of thing you want to wish on people. But doggone it, if that's not some justice.
I mean, it's really hard to feel bad.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that they're equal in stature, really, but it's like, you really shouldn't be cheating in games, and when you do, it's kind of hard for me to feel bad for you that you got the raw end of the deal, even more so.
Here's the worst part about it, to me. So when, like, let's say Home Depot gets hacked, right? Or, you know, they had that hack a couple years ago, and people are freaking out. I usually don't freak out about that because that's like tens of millions of people, and like, what are the chances they're going to sift through it all and find your credit card and use your credit? This was like 500 people or something crazy. Like the number is way low. And
it was like 500 to 600 instances that they were able to track.
Yeah.
So who knows? It could actually be more, but it's probably not tens of millions like Gabe was saying.
Exactly. Because number one, tens of millions of people aren't going to be cheating. Tens of millions of people don't know that even a thing you can go do real quick and just download a program. And, you know, as somebody who used to dabble in this, when I used to play Counter-Strike, there was definitely, and this is the other thing that I feel like sucks about it. When I was a youngster, I dabbled in that. Like when I first played the first Counter-Strike, I was like, oh, okay, well, let's change the, I never did wall hacks because by the time I got around to call Counter-Strike, they had already implemented a bunch of spyware or whatever, so you couldn't just do whatever. But like, you know, we would change the models around to where they were like a little bigger or, you know, just silly stuff that you and your buddies would do as teenagers. And this is the thing that makes me feel bad is that like, all these people, these are not their personal computers for everybody. Yes, is there a lot of these people in there that's using their own personal computers to do this? Yeah, but there's probably some teenagers whose parents' stuff is on there that just got hacked. So it's like the parents are paying for kids being kids at this point. You know what I mean? Because like, you know, cheating, do we endorse it? Of course not. Is it the worst thing in the world? Really, of course not. And so if my Amazon and all this stuff got hacked because my son, who's 12, wanted a leg up in Apex, that sucks.
Yeah, that's true.
Real bad.
Agree.
Because then you're getting the punishment for cheating for not cheating. You know what I'm saying? The dad's like, I was at work. The mom was like, I was out and doing whatever. And here the kids at home like, yeah, let me just download this real quick. Let me just get this on a BitTorrent. You know what I'm saying? And you know, it just sucks, man. That sucks.
Yeah.
But for the 40-year-old that did it on his own computer, that's what you get. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
You know, there always is that thing where, you know, even in our justice system, you know, it feels like sometimes the punishment doesn't match up with the crime.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you'll see somebody get, you know, however long for whatever they did. And this is kind of one of those things where it feels a little lopsided, but hopefully this brings awareness to people. It's like, hey, let's just play the game, man. Just don't cheat. You know what I mean?
Honestly, I'm a little surprised that this is one of the first times I've heard about it to this extent. I mean, I would have always thought like, man, I bet that's a little bit nuts that there's got to be like several of those hacks out there that are all that really is just malware or virus or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe this has been a thing for years and years because I'm not a PC gamer. I don't really know, but man, this is definitely I wouldn't even take the chance.
This is definitely a thing. I feel like I got little viruses back in the day, but it was nothing, you know, identity theft via computer wasn't really a thing for me back in the 90s.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's not full-fledged like it is now. I feel like you can't pick up the phone and talk to the wrong person without them having your social security number somehow. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, it's on and popping these days. But yeah, as a PC guy, you know, because I came up with my first-person shooter life in high school was all on the computer. And so it definitely was always a thing where you would download something and launch it. And next thing you know, all kind of pop-ups are happening on your computer that you don't want your mother to see. And you're like, no, I can't close these down somehow. And so, you know, it's always been a thing, but I haven't heard about it to this extent where you're talking about credit cards, PayPal, Amazon. Yep. I mean, those are things that, you know, I would think a lot of the country use every day. PayPal especially, man. That sucks. Oh, gosh. Man, oh, man. Yeah, don't cheat.
Nope.
Right?
If there's any kids listening, stop doing crazy stuff on your parents' computer, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They just trying to live their lives, man. Mama just at work trying to, she trying to bring home food for you. You at home jacking up her whole situation. Oh, man. So I wanted to talk about this only because we kind of, I think we talked about it off the cast, but I don't know if we talked about it on the cast. So this whole Death Stranding thing and how it's not being listed as a PlayStation 4 exclusive anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'm taking this a couple different ways because it seems like it's still in rumorville a little bit.
Right.
Yes.
So I don't know if that means that because it's probably going to be on PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5, they can't say it's a PlayStation 4 exclusive because it's going to come to both. But what mainly what people are saying is that it's going to be coming to PC. It seems to be the biggest thought behind these things. And I guess there was a Q&A that happened back in 2015 where Kojima Productions talked about doing a then unnamed project that would come to PC after its stretch on the PS5. And so obviously some things have changed about that. Little things have shifted, but I wonder if that's stayed
PS5
around.
is what it had said earlier?
Yeah, it was what
Okay.
Because this is 4 years ago. And so what I was interested in was I was reading something else that was actually unrelated, and it was talking about exclusive games do two things. They sell consoles, obviously, because if Naughty Dog, wherever Naughty Dog goes, I'm going. And then, but it also kills the gaming industry because you have a whole, you have millions of people that can't play that game, put can't in quotes because you could go and buy whatever system it was on. And I just thought that was really interesting. And I know, Chris, you've been obviously out in front with this Death Stranding thing. You've got it already pre-ordered and everything like that. Does anything like this bum you out when you think of it coming to PC, or are you just happy that PC people get to experience the same thing you get to experience?
No, I mean, it doesn't particularly bum me out. What I will say is that I buy into the model of exclusives make sense and are a good thing for the industry.
That's what I think.
Or maybe not for the industry, but definitely for the makers of whatever platform is getting that said exclusive. Which in turn kind of helps the industry because like everybody wants to be the next Naughty Dog.
Yeah.
And they exist because Sony's paying for them to exist and creating amazing games. And as a byproduct of that, because Sony owns them, the games that they make are only going to be available on their hardware, at least as the current model is today. What I had made mention of is that there are a lot of games for whatever platform you're speaking of, that if it is a second party, and usually second party denotes like a development team that is not owned by the platform holder, but the platform holder, like they enter into some kind of deal. There are a lot of games that are second party that will only be a timed exclusive, or they will only be timed, and then even after that, they only may remain, like, for instance, in the terms of consoles, a console exclusive. But what that means is that it will also come to PC. And that's really not that strange. It's happened a lot. I mean, you can see right now, Quantic Dream has worked with Sony for years and years and years, but their entire catalog is about to come to PC on the Epic Game Store.
Yep.
Of course, Journey, which won Game of the Year on several outlets back in, I think it was 2016 or 2014 or 15, somewhere around there. And it's now available on PC. It's also available on iOS. It took a long time, but it happened.
Yeah.
So it's not that strange, and I don't have an issue with other people getting access to it via, other platforms such as the PC. I've got no problem with it. I'm sure if it does end up coming to PC, there's going to be all kinds of crazy mods and stuff that make it even more amazing than it, possibly is even today. So I don't take issue with it. This one in particular is strange if it ends up being the case that it is indeed coming to PC, only because not only is, as far as we know, there's nobody said for sure, but as far as we know, we have to assume Sony has bankrolled a big chunk of this game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, it's being built with an engine that was created by Guerrilla Games, which is owned by Sony, thus meaning they actually own that engine.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the only thing that makes me think, man, it's hard to believe that Sony would let a proprietary engine built by one of their teams and let Kojima Productions do it, and then that game still come to another platform, even if it's only PC. I would be flabbergastedly on the floor shocked if this game ever came to an Xbox platform. I mean, I guess technically PC is Xbox because they're using that term, but you know what I mean, on a console side.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the only weird thing about it to me. That's like, man, I did not think that Sony owned this IP. I felt like, look, if Kojima's going to do anything, and because he has the clout and the ability to be able to do this from a stature standpoint, that man, after all the stuff he dealt with Konami and Metal Gear, I guarantee you he owns this IP. He would not have entered into a deal that said like, and we're going to own your IP, because he doesn't want to go down that road again. So that makes total sense to me.
And I feel like, all the early announcements were more along the lines of like Kojima's partnering with Sony. You know what I'm saying? It's not like Sony bought Kojima Productions.
Yes, absolutely. But it's still like, because Kojima Productions was so new, and because it was, just branching out on its own, it's just hard to believe that Sony didn't bankroll almost every bit of this game.
Yep.
And it's like, if it is indeed going to come to PC, I will be shocked if it comes before like a couple years.
Okay.
I mean, it may well do it. You don't really know. That's the whole nature of these things, is because we don't ever have visibility to what the contracts are. But like, for instance, like From Software is not a small developer, and they partnered with Sony, and they made Bloodborne, and Bloodborne has never gone anywhere except PlayStation 4. Yes. So that leads me to believe that not only did Sony pay a lot of money to help pay for the development of this game, but they likely own that IP. I was really expecting it to eventually come to something else. And when it never did, I was like, well, shoot, that's the telltale signs that Sony probably owns that IP. But on the case of Death Stranding, it's a weird situation because on the one hand, I know Kojima fought and made sure that he owns this IP. And on the other hand, it's like, but you're using Sony's proprietary engine, and why would they let that just go for free? But
right,
man, everything's all in a weird situation where things are just kind of changing and becoming a bit different these days. So who knows where it's going to go?
Yeah, I just thought it was interesting because the thing that everybody's pointing to is PlayStation.com. Like, their own PS4 exclusive page where Death Stranding used to be. And now it's not on there anymore.
The only solid kind of theory that I feel like might make a bit of sense, and you had mentioned it earlier, is that maybe they removed that because it's also going to be on PS5. That could be reason enough to say not console exclusive or not exclusive to PlayStation 4. But even though I think that's a legit reason, it holds little water with me. I'm leaning more towards like it's probably going to end up coming to PC.
Yeah, I definitely don't think of different versions of the same console as not being I wouldn't think of, oh, it's on the PS4 and 5. It's not PlayStation exclusive. Like I wouldn't. That's just not how I would think of it.
Yeah. I just thought it was really interesting because, like Chris was saying, I'm all for the exclusive game. Now, I am blessed enough to own an Xbox and a PlayStation and a Switch and have built a gaming PC in the last year or two, and which is probably painfully outdated now. But I think it warrants competitiveness. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I mean, there's a reason why Microsoft has gone through and bought up all these, game developers, because they want them making games for Microsoft products. You know, whether it's just the Xbox or the Xbox and Windows. And so I've always liked the fact that things were exclusive because it did give you that almost like a team to be on almost, say when you talk to people, especially during the 360 days when it was in this heyday, everybody was playing everything on 360 and they got to take full advantage of that with the Gears games and stuff like that Microsoft had on by itself. And so I'm not mad that it's not exclusive anymore. It just was kind of like interesting to me.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, the best way to anticipate that something's going to be exclusive and stay exclusive forever is if it is a first party game. Like it's a 343 that's owned by Microsoft. Like they're probably never going to produce a game that is going to be on a PlayStation. It'll probably always be a Microsoft thing.
Yep.
I mean, I guess it's even a little bit different in their realm because obviously they own, Mojang, who makes Minecraft, but it's a little bit different because they existed beforehand and made this game that was a hit everywhere, and then they bought them. That's a bit different.
Right.
But I would be shocked if like a Halo ever shows up on a PlayStation console. That would be a little bit nuts. I don't see that happening. Just like I don't see a Last of Us ever showing up on a Microsoft platform, even PC. I just don't see that happening. But, who knows what the future holds.
I know. It's like when we first started seeing Sonic jump up on Nintendo stuff. You were like, this feels weird, but Sega's not making something, so I guess it's right, Yeah, I just thought that was really interesting. What else you got, Christopher?
So we had talked last week, just kind of want to touch on this story about Kyle Booga. I don't know how you say his last name, sort of the G.
Kyle Booga, new millionaire.
Yes, exactly. Who had won the Fortnite World Cup Championship.
Gearsdorf.
Gearsdorf? Okay, yeah. That makes sense. I'm going to go with that. Gearsdorf. That sounds great. So we had also talked about in the past the whole swatting stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I hadn't noticed or heard really anything about any real major swatting incidences happening of late. Well, it turns out that this past weekend, it actually happened to Booga.
Yeah.
While he was streaming Fortnite on Twitch with a couple of other pro players, he was playing in squads, and then he's at his father's house because he's like 16 years old. And his father came in. You just kind of hear him off stream a bit, and his dad's coming and saying something. He says, "Dad, actually, I can't." And then a few minutes later,
like, "Can you come down here for a second?"
Yeah, exactly. A few minutes later, you kind of see like he leaves, and you hear him saying like, "Wait, I got swatted." And then you see him leave the frame, and then his teammates. And he's actually towards the end, like in the last 10 or so people of the game. So getting towards the end of winning the match that he was in at the time.
Yeah.
Fortunately for him, the police officers that showed up kind of knew who he was and had his reputation and everything. So they kind of assumed that maybe the situation isn't what it seems, but obviously it's their job. They need to go treat everything as though it is serious. So they went to go see it. And because they knew of his reputation and who he was and that he had just won, the Fortnite World Cup and everything, they were able to resolve this all relatively quickly. Thank God. He's been super fortunate in that respect, but it's like, doggone it. And I was kind of hoping this stuff was, for the most part, past us.
Well, yeah, when somebody gets shot and killed,
yes,
you would think like, okay, maybe this is a little beyond the jokes that we thought it was.
Right.
Which is not a funny joke anyway. And I still don't really know how it works. Like, you have to know someone's address, don't you?
Yeah, I think
but there's this thing called the internet, and they just find it out, man.
I guess so, man. That's a lot of digging.
Yep.
Gracious. Yeah, and he came back, I think, afterwards, right?
Yeah, I think he ended up coming back and continuing on and streaming for at least a little while longer. But scary situation for sure.
I hate that, man.
I hate it too.
I do too.
Gosh, if you
ridiculous.
Yeah, don't do that. And I know our community is a little bit older and we don't think about these kind of things, but still just tell your children. It's not funny. Like
it's a waste of resources and time.
Right, it's so expensive. Like some of these guys have had full SWAT teams show up. Like these guys got to anyway, that's just like taxpayer dollars. Like might as well just burn them.
It's kind of like a little while ago when the cool thing on YouTube was to go into a grocery store and smash jugs of milk on the floor.
I hated that.
I remember thinking, someone's got to clean that up, And it was just kind of the same thing. It's like it's just pointless. Just frustrates me.
Yeah, it's stupid. It's really stupid. I wanted to touch on one other story right before. It's more of a public service announcement before Chris brings another story. But the version 2 of the Switch is out. Mm-hmm. So if you're thinking about getting a Switch, please pay attention to the box, because the version 1 Switches are still out there and the version 2 Switches are here. And here's the best way to tell the difference is the box. So
it's red, right?
The new one is red and doesn't have a hand on it. The version 1 has got the console and the controller, and there's like a hand kind of picking up the Switch out of the dock like it's about to play undocked. This new one is just a picture of the Switch and the controller, and it's red, and that's version 2.
Does it say version 2?
No. That's why it's frustrating. And that's why I know that there's going to be people that, either don't know because they're just going to buy a Switch, or, they heard the version 2s are out there and they just go pick one up and maybe they're not paying attention. The old box is still out there. Go get the red box. The red box. Red box.
Red box it.
Red box.
Red box.
And then a little side note to that. GameStop, which I'm really considering this.
Uh-oh.
I know. You can take your Switch if it's in operable order, working order. You can take it into GameStop. You can trade it in for $225, which is a lot of money. And so you can get the brand new Switch for just $75 out of your pocket. You don't have to use that money for the new Switch, but if you just want to go Switch for Switch and get the longer battery life, also, which I don't know if we touched on this before, but the screens are slightly different. Sharp has been working with Nintendo, and people are noticing that the new screens are just slightly brighter and a little bit more crisp than the version 1 Switches. So if you have $75 laying around and you have your Switch laying there and you want to go get the new one, you can get the new one for $75 instead of paying the $300 that it usually is in the store. So
nice.
Just a little public service announcement real quick.
Interesting.
Cool. Well done.
Good heads up.
Chris? Yeah. Back to you, buddy.
So one thing that I feel like this generation has you could almost point to it and be like, oh, look, this is one of the defining things that kind of happened in this generation is games as a service.
Yep.
And one of the biggest games out there in terms of games of a service is Destiny, and more specifically, the current version of it, which is Destiny 2. And with a lot of these games that are games as a service, one of the things that almost every one of them has that can kind of be a bit of a contentious topic for people is microtransactions.
Mm-hmm.
And, are they a good thing? Are they a bad thing? Are they too expensive? Are they just the right price? Yada, 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 yada. And a lot of people are just like, oh, is it just a way for them to just get more money out of us after we've already bought a game? Or like, there's just debates here, this direction, that direction, every which way that you look at it. Well, we got some information from director Luke Smith, which is of Bungie and of Destiny 2. And we found out that the 0 Hour mission, which is a mission that rewards players with the Outbreak Perfected Exotic Pulse Rifle, was funded completely by microtransactions.
Whoosh.
So more specifically, it was the sales of the ornament, which an ornament is just basically it's something that you attach to a weapon inside of Destiny that makes it look different.
Yeah, it doesn't even
so
do
basically
anything.
like a skin, so to speak. They're just called ornaments. But it was the sales of the ornament for the Whisper of the Worm sniper rifle that Bungie had developed. Just the microtransactions from that alone was able to pay for them to make this mission that a lot of people who play Destiny 2 really enjoyed this mission and thought, oh, this is a super really cool mission and that was an awesome weapon. There was a great reward for it. And we found out that it was completely paid for from the microtransactions for the ornaments of
That's
this. So,
insane.
Yeah.
yeah. So, I mean, clearly, I'll say a little bit of an excerpt from this little article that Director Luke Smith has said. He said, as some folks have smartly pointed out, microtransactions are a big part of our business being a live game. I'm not saying that microtransactions fund the studio, and he's not saying it pays for projects like Shadowkeep, which is their next expansion that's going to be coming out. He said, it doesn't wholly fund either of those things, but it does help fund ongoing development of Destiny 2 and allows us to fund creative efforts we otherwise couldn't afford. For example, Whisper of the Worm ornaments were successful enough it paid development cost-wise for the 0 Hour mission and reward to be constructed.
That
I just really
insane.
like that. Yes, I like that because it gives a little bit of perspective, because so many people out there, that are the anti-microtransaction. Some people like to the full extent where they're like, they shouldn't exist, period. And then there's other people who are like, well, they're okay, but as long as they're not too egregious in the price. And then other people that are like, well, it depends, like, is it really helping me get other stuff in the game? This is proof that microtransactions help to create more stuff for your live service game.
Yeah.
And if you're the type of person who doesn't buy microtransactions, never spends a dime, you still benefit from that.
Yeah,
Right.
baby.
Yeah.
So I'm one of those people that have said most of this generation, like, for the most part, I'm not anti-microtransaction. I'm fine with them as long as they're not super egregious or crazy expensive, or if they don't affect gameplay in any way, they're just simply cosmetic. I got no problem with, Joe down the street buying a skin for his gun that he really loves when I could care less because it's gold and I don't like gold weapons. More power to him. Thank you for giving him the ability to buy that thing that he really enjoys and gets a lot of enjoyment out of. And then luckily enough for me, down the road, I get to reap some of the benefit of that because you make another cool mission that I get to partake in.
Yep.
So I just wanted to, I thought that was a really cool way that it highlighted that, because we don't get a lot of that kinds of information and insight very often.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
And I love the way how responsible it sounds.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's what we all as gamers hope our money is going towards. Sometimes you just, as we talk about taxpayer dollars, like, sometimes you don't always know where your taxpayer dollars are going. And so and I'm not saying this is with every developer, but I love that they came forward. They were like, hey man, this thing went bonkers and it allowed us to do this. And so you just love that they believe in themselves enough, their game enough, to take the extra money that they've made from microtransactions and pour it right back into the game. I love that. I love it.
Yes. And they're going to definitely heavily rely on that now that Destiny 2 is going free to play, or Destiny, whatever they're going to end up being. And granted, there's still going to be to some extent paid expansions, but the base game is going free to play. So microtransactions, I'm not saying they're going to increase, but this is proof that the microtransactions work and it helped them to continue to make other things. So it's all gravy, really, as long as it continues on.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, love that. And even if it's paying their people or bonusing their people, I'm not mad at that either. But I know it's nice that he came forward and said this, though.
Yeah, really.
And it really does show the power of the communities.
Mm-hmm.
Eduardo,
Yes, sir.
what you got for me, brother?
Over on the YouTubes, We've got Wolfenstein Youngblood Part 3 is up there. We have parts 1 and 2 of Final Fantasy X. You can see two very different play sessions.
Excitement levels.
Exactly. And MLB The Show 19 is up there as well. You can check that out and listen to me scream and watch me hit guys in the head with baseballs on purpose.
You even hit the pitcher a couple times.
Yeah, I did. Man, I had so many goals. Can I line drive the pitcher? Can I hit Cabrera every time he's up to bat? And can I score 20 runs on the Rangers? Those were my 3 goals.
And did you do the 20 runs?
I did not hit 20 runs, no.
Oh, okay.
No.
Did you feel like I jumped in there at the beginning of you playing it, and it seemed like you were playing one version of the game that you didn't really like because it was throwing you into the middle of the game, and then it was kind of just doing the other games, what do you call it, where they just do them by themselves? Yeah,
it was definitely, I definitely needed some guidance from the game as far as what does what. There are a few different game modes, and I wasn't sure what did what. So it took a little while to kind of fumble around and find it, but once I found it, oh man.
Did you enjoy more doing the game from the beginning or taking part in the story that they were trying to, quote unquote, story that they were trying to tell when they were like, hey, if you can win this game, everybody will go crazy. We're going to start you in the 7th inning.
Yeah, I just would prefer to play the game from start to finish, and
I do think that there is a way. So, as I understand it, in the current version, which is the 2019 version, that March to October is the version of like the full season, because obviously it goes from March to October.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think there is somewhere in there where you can change it if you wanted to play every second of every game.
You should be able to.
I
right?
just don't know where it is because I've not played it myself, but I listened to a couple of other podcasts and things, and a lot of people who really enjoy that game. And a lot of them that play sports games like crazy really enjoy that is the thing, to where it's like, look, I can just come in like the 6th inning and the game's already somewhat set and I can just finish it out kind of thing. They really super enjoy that. So much so that I have to think most people that play it heavily probably liked that. That's why it seems like it's the default. But my understanding is there's somewhere in there you can change it. I was trying to Google and be like, how do I tell Ed how to change this? And then I was like, you know what? If he just wants to play the game, there's got to be an exhibition mode somewhere.
Yeah, it was just really weird because I thought I had, when I started the season, it was weird. We started in the 7th inning and we were down by 3. It's like, good luck. And I'm like, what?
Wait, I don't even know how to swing this bat.
I know, that's exactly what it was. You got to tell me how to do stuff. But it was a lot of fun. We had a good time with that.
Yeah, they did that in Fight Night a little bit as well, where they would be like, in some of the stories, you would already be beaten up. And they were like, hey, come back and win this thing. And you're like, oh, snap. But I freaking love the Fight Night games. Oh, make a new Fight Night, please, EA. Golly.
Over on Game Pass, new this week, a game called Slay the Spire is out. You can grab that and at least take it for a spin. Check it out.
At least slay a spire.
You can slay a spire if you want. And there you go.
And that's it.
That's it.
Well, thanks, Ed.
You're welcome.
Every week we ask you guys a question. Last week was no different. We asked you guys, have you ever finished a game on principle alone? Over on Twitter, we got Aaron Bonner, at Aaron J. Bonner. I struggled to finish Kingdom Hearts 3. I felt like I had to finish it because it took forever to get here, but I lost interest in its incomprehensible story a little over halfway through, and the gameplay got super repetitive. At Blaze Knight 0923, nope. If I lose interest in a game, I move on. My time is too valuable to spend on a game I am not enjoying. I've skipped out early on several RPGs, Ori and the Blind Forest and Armored Core 4. Answers come to mind as recent examples.
There you go.
Throw a fast one. At Silver_Husky, I forced myself to finish Persona 4 Dancing All Night because I was writing a review of it for my gaming blog. My PS TV crashed, and I had to start over on a game I already disliked in a genre I disliked, rhythm games.
Yeah.
I'd do it again for writing's sake. There you go. Yeah, you're better human than me. Over on Facebook, we got, okay, Ed, help me out with this last name because you pronounced it right on your stream, but I don't know how to say it because we've said it wrong so many times. Nick
Huntress.
Yep. Not Houndtress.
Correct. Huntress.
With kids, wives, and 9-to-5s, ain't nobody got time for that. If I think really,
Amen.
if I think really hard back, I loved Halo 1 campaign. Didn't really like 2 or 3, but felt like I had to finish them. Now I just wait and don't buy a game unless I know I'm gonna play it.
There you go.
Tristan Jones, still over on Facebook, said, "Sure, I have before kids, wives, and 9-to-5s. Now my game time is more valuable. I played Arkham Knight a couple days ago and gave it 15 minutes and was done."
What?
Shoot, man, you might want to give that one another 15 minutes. I'm just saying.
Right.
Ben Palmer, absolutely. Despite what a buggy, grinding mess that EA calls Anthem, I played through the campaign, the fortresses, and all of the open world activities. In fact, not only did I finish the game on principle, I platinumed it.
What?
Also based on principle. It was not getting the better of me.
Wow.
That's crazy. Mike Doherty said, trophies, man.
Man.
I don't know about that.
Ain't no award for that. Trophies.
Yes, trophies. Over on Discord, we got Jared Orr. I don't know how many I've finished for Principle alone, but I've certainly finished games to get the platinum alone. Specifically this year, I kept playing, is that supposed to be Thronebreaker?
Sure.
There's no R.
Yeah.
Thronebreaker, The Witcher Tales, and Bloodstained Ritual of the Night long after I was sick of those games.
Wow.
There you go.
Jared.
Did it. Nathan Dugas. Mine would have to be I Am Setsuna. I got the game as it was a Switch launch title and an RPG inspired by Chrono Trigger, my favorite game of all time. I only played around 20 hours to the end, but I found the whole thing to be underwhelming and not really memorable in any positive way. Wow. Hollywood Bones. Ow, 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 ow. The Quiet Man. Hands down. Hands down the worst game of the generation for me.
Oh.
I
watched
finished
him
it.
stream that.
Oh, really? Was it painful?
Oh, it was so bad.
Oh, shoot. Was the game bad or it was bad because watching him play it made you feel bad?
No, the game was bad. Watching him play it made it tolerable.
Oh, man. He said, I finished it because I bought it digitally. I didn't want to waste my money, so instead I wasted my time.
That's amazing.
Thank you guys for all the answers. That sucks. Oh, that sucks. I've been there, brother. I've been there. You know where to find us, facebook.com/married to the games. Come join the MTTG community, man. We talking and chatting, and Ed's got his streams up there. It's so much fun. marriedtothegames.com, twitter.com/MTTGcast. Like Ed said, youtube.com/marriedtothegames. If you'd like to support the show, we would like you to over at patreon.com/MTTG and trying to kick this doggone extra life ball down this hill.
That's going to be here before you know it.
-life.org/team/MTTG. I think we're going after 10 grand this year that we'd like to give away to children's hospitals across the nation. It's a lot of money. We've never raised that much, but we believe in you guys, and it's for an amazing cause. Amazing. And Chris McCracken.
Rate us on iTunes because Death Stranding is coming to Married to the Games.
Ooh, yeah, it is.
There you go.
It's close. Well, let's get into some questions.
starting with Discord. We're starting with Beef Master Serta.
Uh-oh. I'm worried.
A haiku, if you please.
Okay.
About your favorite community member. Now,
that's not
haiku,
fair.
a traditional Japanese 3-line poem, 17 total syllables. It's usually written in 575.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
So
Lord.
you have a total of 17 syllables to get through this.
I don't understand anything you just said.
So
All
it's-
right.
Okay.
yeah, five syllables, 7 syllables, 5 syllables.
5 syllables. Yep. Ain't nobody got time for haiku nonsense like this, so let's move on. Ooh, that's 17 perfectly. There you go.
What is it again? The 555 or something?
575.
575.
575.
Okay.
575.
You have to check me. This might not be right.
Go.
I can't pick just one. Oh, shoot. I love this community. You all are my faves.
Perfect.
Haiku for your tail. Blah!
Okay. I don't have a fave.
Yep.
Why you trying to start some poop?
Wait. Why are you trying is 2, right?
No, but the way I say it,
trying, 2
Trying,
syllables.
trying.
Trying.
why you
Trying.
trying to start some poop?
Oh, trying. Okay.
Yep.
You are now banned, dude.
Yes.
Nice.
Well played.
There you go. Chris
Well
McCracken.
I don't know if I have my numbers right.
575.
Hollywood Bones is a guy. There are many, many others, though. I love them all. They're great.
Great.
Man,
Perfect.
I don't know about that one. That was a triku.
That was a triku.
Poems are the dumbest thing in the world, and haikus are even worse.
Sorry. Perfect. There it is. There it is.
I mean, I guess they're all right because rap songs are basically poems, and I'm cool with that,
Exactly. Thanks.
but Still,
hilarious.
come on now. Who's got time for that? Ain't nobody got time for
Ain't
that.
nobody got time for that.
Oh,
All
my
right.
I want that
God.
on a patchwork quilt.
Yeah.
I
Right.
get
Poems are the dumbest thing in the world, and haikus are even worse.
Ain't nobody got
my
time for this.
Gosh, that's funny.
Bad Gamer Elite, that Lem guy. I was hip deep into the toys to life scene, specifically with Disney
Yep.
Infinity. What gaming fad do you wish never went away, and how would you have changed it to keep it interesting to the public?
Holy crap. I don't mind this whole pop figures thing. I like it. It hasn't gone away, but I've not really jumped on any of those fads like where you buy a. Is that what it is? Where you buy some figures and things like that?
Yeah, buy a figurine, yeah.
Man, I've not ever done that. I mean, I bought those box full of. I started on the Skylanders for the kids, but then Stancil sent me a whole bunch, so I didn't feel like I had to buy anymore. So I'm sorry, I don't have an answer for you. I'm sorry. Chris, you have one?
I mean, the only, and it's yet to be determined whether or not it ends up being a fad, but the only gaming fad I kind of bought into was VR.
Mm.
And at the moment, we don't know whether it's going to turn out to be legit or a fad or not. I hope it doesn't go away because I've
Yeah.
had a lot of fun with it. But that's the only thing I can think. We had a Wii, but I didn't buy it because of the Waggle stuff. It just, you get the Wii.
The waggle
And-
stuff.
Yeah, and then the same thing with the Move stuff. And actually, I didn't even buy into the Move things. I didn't buy Move controllers until I bought VR. So
There you go.
I don't think I really ever bought into one of the fads before.
Yeah. What about you there, Edward?
Man, I miss Guitar Hero.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Dance Dance Revolution, but they still have like the Just Dance games, which is kind of the same.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it is kind of in it.
And the arcade is still
Yeah, it's still
relatively
there, yeah.
popular, I
Yeah,
would
they
say.
they still do it. Yeah, people still do it in public.
How would you have changed Guitar Hero to make it more interesting?
Yeah, that's a good question. More popular songs, you think?
I was gonna say like they would
Yeah.
continue to add songs. They kind of
Yeah.
did that with this last iteration with Guitar Hero Live, but I just wish they would have added actual content rather than they would play music videos and you would strum along to it. Like actually make
Right.
new content for it.
Do you think
Yeah.
though too they should have broadened the genres?
Well, a lot of them did, like, they had a lot of different genres with Guitar Hero, and then even like they had Band Hero that had a bunch of different genres. You had Lego Rock Band that had a lot of different genres. I don't know. And again, I guess even like VR, you just got to buy a lot of stuff and then store it. I mean, that's a lot to.
Especially when it got into that drum set and all that business.
Right.
Right.
What if they would have made, and I don't, correct me if they actually did this, what if they would have made some variant where if like you're super hardcore and like a hardcore mode where you can plug in an actual guitar and you have to actually play the songs.
Yeah. See,
and you have to
do
actually
that?
hit all the notes and stuff.
And
Would that have been like a cool thing to add on to that, or would that have been like totally lame?
They did that.
That
with
existed?
Rocksmith?
Yeah.
Guitarsmith or something like that. What was it called, Ed?
Yeah.
Was it Rock? But I thought Rocksmith was just to learn to play the guitar. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I'm not talking about something that teach you to play. I'm talking about like from a gamify, like get a score
Right.
and be a leaderboards and all that.
And I think,
But I would imagine that
have,
Rocksmith would have had that in there.
Yeah, I think that I feel like Rocksmith might have had that. I know Spencer Stapleton played it quite a bit. He could probably answer that, but
I was waiting for them to do a Piano Smith because I really want to play the piano.
I know, right?
There you go.
It never came out
But
with
see,
that.
that's the problem with, or not really problem, but that's the one thing about like Garage Band or Rock Band, excuse me, or Guitar Hero is you didn't actually learn to play the songs. You're just hitting the little buttons and doing the little thing back and forth. You're
Guitar
not
Hero,
actually
that's
learning. You couldn't do that and then go get a real guitar and be like, now I know how to play.
No, that's right.
You know, Stairway to Heaven or whatever.
Yeah, but it was fun for people who didn't know how to play just to be able to kind of play along with it. Though.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
Right.
What if they had
Yeah.
a second variant or another stage you could get to is like, and now the really hardcore where you can actually have to learn the song and actually hit the actual notes. I don't know. Maybe that would have been lame. I never played any of them, but
Yeah.
I mean, that actually made me stop learning to play guitar because it's like, okay, I could practice for 3 hours until my fingers are numb and kind of plunk out sort of a tune, or I can play Guitar Hero and after a minute I can sound exactly like the song.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Tim, you didn't jump on any bandwagons, did
No,
you?
I mean, I'm with you, Gabe. I really didn't have anything, but I do like Ed's answer because I did play a little bit of Guitar Hero, and that it was fun. And I still don't know like how it just disappeared so quickly. It just seemed kind of crazy. I'm sure it was a bit of a licensing nightmare for a lot of the songs, but I'll go with Ed's too.
Yeah, that's a good answer.
Yep. B-Dog 1221. It's mid-August and kids are heading back to school and summer is starting to wind down. This time of the year makes me miss my family a lot as we would spend a lot of time together outside hanging out, picnics, parks, basketball, etc. What are some of your favorite end of summer memories with your family? No Disney, LOL.
That's funny.
Is that directed at me, sir?
Yeah.
end of summer. What was
Me
it
and you, I think.
What are some of your favorite end of summer memories with your family?
I don't know if it was an end of summer, but when I was really young, and I was still going back to California each summer, we would go to the lake and do like the jet skis and all that stuff. And that always felt like it fell towards the end of the trip. And so I just remember super fond memories of going out with this other family who had a boat and jet skis and just having so much fun out on the lake out there in Cali. You have one, Chris?
Not so much as a kid outside of just during the summer we would have, I have two stepbrothers, and during the years, especially the school year, they would just come over every other weekend. And during the summer, they would get to come over and spend, maybe like a week or something or a little bit more time. So that was always a lot of fun. It wasn't necessarily tied to the end of summer. And we weren't a big vacationing family. Like I know Stacy, when she grew up, their family was always going on vacations on the summer. And like we only did it, sparingly, here and there we would go do something, but we weren't big vacationers. So I would just say just the times that I would get prolonged time to get to spend with my brothers and, just run around the street and, set off fireworks when we probably weren't supposed to be doing so and different things like that. But nothing like super crazy or anything like that.
Mm-hmm. I like that. Ed?
Yeah, I can't think of anything we would do specifically at the end of the summer.
Color pencils. That was always a thing I was looking forward to getting when I was
Colored
younger.
pencils?
Yeah.
I did like
I love
I did like this
shopping.
back to school shopping. That was always fun.
Yeah.
That was great. I always used to pick out my Trapper Keeper. I love that notebook smell
Yeah.
that you get. Oh, that I do. I do miss that, or I don't miss that, but I definitely have the memories of
fond memories of it.
Getting everything like put together for school was actually kind of cool.
I was so sure. I was like, I'm going to be so organized. The green notebook is only for science.
That's right. Blue geography, all that's exactly. That's so funny. Nice. Yeah, my family, I remember we did like a last vacation before summer, and it was kind of heading out west where we went to Yosemite, and then even went further out. We had friends that lived near LA, so we went to like Huntington Beach and like just did kind of like a little West Coast thing. And it was right before school started, and I always remember that trip. That was a fun trip.
There you go.
Good times. Yeah, good question, man. We got everybody right. The Winter Gamer. How much can something throw you off? I had to take my dog to the vet for an infection, and I have been out of whack ever since. And on top of that, I work 7 days.
Oh, that was the end of the question.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Anything can throw you off. It's just
I'm pretty out of whack from losing a job.
Yeah. You think?
I don't really know what's going on.
As well you should.
That's kind of whacked.
Yeah. I think each time Jenny took a pregnancy test and it was positive.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Throw me out of whack for a little while.
Right.
Where you're like, I don't know where I am. What am I going to do? Do I have a job? I do have a job. Oh, this is going to be expensive. Just all those, the whole, your mind just starts racing when you talk about bringing a child into this world. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I bet.
I'm going to say that. What about you there, Tim?
I think it's when somebody's sick, whether it's a dog or a child or another adult. Like you've got, I've got some scheduled work stuff like conference calls and that kind of stuff, and then something like this happens, and then everything just shuts down, and you got to go handle it, and it just kind of throws off your whole day.
That's right.
So that any type of illness like that, you just got to handle that, and that just completely messes with the rest of your day.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one, Edward.
If something goes wrong on the stream, just because I want to give people a good time and for people to have fun. And if something's going wrong, I was having some technical difficulties this week, and it bugged me to no end. And just trying to cover and still act like you're having a good time, and in your head you're like, "This sucks. I hate this."
I know.
And now people are complaining about it, and it sucks even worse because I know it's going wrong. You don't have to tell me it's going wrong.
I know.
They'll still tell you.
It's funny. As a watcher, especially because I know your personality, because I know that kills you, you're in this, I was trapped in this weird thing where it's like, do you even let you know? You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, you would want to know, but I know it's also going to ruin your time. So it's like, how do you do that?
It's different because I do appreciate if people let me know, because I didn't know at certain parts. But then when I knew and I was like, oh, I'm addressing it, I'm like, oh man, I'm not sure what's going on. And for people to be like, hey, your mic's cutting out. It's like,
oh gosh,
I know.
I just said I know.
What's wrong with it? Why can't you fix it? I don't know. I hate this.
That's awesome.
If I knew, I'd fix it.
Trust me, I would not give you this product if I knew I could fix it. Your mic's not working. I know.
Oh man.
My working.
Exactly.
No,
shoot, I'm so sorry, Ed. Oh,
that's awesome.
I know that feeling. That's the worst feeling ever.
Yeah.
Hey, we can't hear you. You're like, all right, and you're like, how do I don't know. How do I fix this?
You almost want to write something on a piece of paper. I know.
It's funny because I was actually typing it in and saying it as I was typing. I was like, I know there is something wrong, and they're like, we can actually hear you now.
Oh, that's hilarious.
That's the worst.
Oh man,
I can hear you typing, just not talking.
Oh, that's horrible.
Sheesh, I get that.
Gracious.
I totally
That's a good
get
one.
That.
Man,
right,
tech problems are no joke.
Oh man,
yeah,
especially
absolutely.
on stream stuff. Man, I like I don't, obviously I'm not to Ed's level. Dude's a beast, but I like to dabble with it, and it's fun to do. But when stuff's not going right, and you feel like you've checked every box that you've checked every time, it's like, good
you feel like
gracious,
quitting.
I don't know what else.
I don't want to do this anymore.
Or if like you're at a performance and there's a technical difficulty, a mic goes out or the sound goes out, and people start booing. It's like, it's not their fault. Like, It's not. Trust me, they wouldn't have it like this if they could help it.
Yeah, why would they do this
I've
on
never had
purpose?
the boo, but I have had where like you're running mics or sound for like an event, and then there starts being crazy feedback for some weird reason, and you're trying to isolate it and figure it out, and then you just slowly a person or two looks back at you, and then it's more people start looking back. It's like they're not booing, but it's like it's the same thing.
Right.
Yeah,
I know what your eyes mean.
Booing with their eyes.
I
You
Yeah.
see
know
me
what your
moving my
eyes
hands
mean.
feverishly. I'm trying to figure it out.
I totally agree.
Well, that brings it up, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Sheesh.
Yeah, it does. Good question, though. Thanks for that. MTTG Street Team.
Blah.
In an alternate universe, Married to the Games doesn't exist.
Oh.
But you guys are all friends and decide to go into business together. What is the business and what is everyone's role?
We would have the most legit voiceover studio ever in the world.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I
like
say that as a person who just complained about not being able to run audio. I would figure it the heck out.
Exactly.
And I would try and I would dabble myself with a little bit of VO as well, but I just wouldn't be to these boys' level.
Listen,
I think that we could totally run that.
we're all
I
just
love
starting.
that.
And we could get we can like Troy Baker be knocking down our door. Man, I gotta record at your studio, dog. And be like, yeah,
Right.
we'll see about maybe next week I can fit you in.
Yeah.
That's right.
I like that. I
I
like that a lot.
lot.
Oh my gosh.
I also thought of like a arcade. that
I
we could
want to
set
do
up.
an arcade so bad because Nashville doesn't have one. Number one,
I know, right?
I feel like we need one.
They don't have one at all anywhere.
No.
I mean, we have Dave and Buster's,
Dave and Buster's, but then,
Yeah.
but that doesn't count. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about like that local, like,
Yeah.
you know, the
Yep.
people that come in there and it's like, oh, what up, Bill? It's like, oh yeah, man, just back here trying to beat Sunset Riders. Like, I know, man, that game gets tough.
you got it all worked out, don't you?
Yeah,
I
I've
love
thought
this.
about this.
Hey, let's do it. Come on.
Jenny's talked about wanting to do it actually.
Really?
All right.
She's like,
You
what
got
if we? She's like, what if we open? And this is gonna sound weird, but she's like, what if we open a gentleman's?
Whoa.
Not like that, but
Take
like
it easy.
in the way
Back
to where
up there,
like
Jenny.
in the way to where it's like it's a barcade at its core, but it's just
Yep.
really classy. So it's
Mm.
like leather chairs and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I love that idea. What you trying to do? Get pregnant?
Right.
I love it. Let's do it.
Mm-hmm. I like those. Those
All
two
right.
answers are
Mm.
good.
All right, so
Man.
we all okay. I like those answers. That's good.
I
All right, Facebook.
Oh,
Go ahead, Ed. Sorry.
we would be the ones to put poor Ryan Stiles and Colin Mockery and those guys out of business, and we
Ooh.
would go on tour with our own improv show.
Let's do it.
We kind of already do, don't you think?
I'm telling you, man. Oh,
Oh, that would be fun. Shoot.
come on.
Wow.
Song styles.
Ah,
Oh, that would be a good time. That's me and that's you hit me and Ed in the fields right
I'm
now.
telling you right now, man.
There you go. There you go.
I'm trying to figure out how we can do it right now. I'm plotting a map.
I'll be my role will be the driver. I'll drive you guys wherever you need to go. You just tell me where I'll go. I'll take you there.
Yeah, you
Tim,
got
you're
it.
I'll get you there.
You're so agreeable, though, Tim. You would be so good at yes anding. Come on.
Yeah, that's right. That's the first rule of improv is to yes and.
Like, Tim,
you-
that's a crazy hat you have on. I know. I got it. I made it myself out of a dead fox or what. Just
Exactly.
right.
Jeez.
You would fit the thing very well.
Yeah.
That's
All
very
right,
true.
cool. All right. Well, maybe I'll dabble in it while I'm taking you there.
There you go.
There you go. There you
All
go.
right,
You could be the special
Face-
guest.
Let's do this. Facebook, Tristan Jones. Has there been a game that you were really hyped for, got it, and it was a total letdown? P.S. Chris, Hearthstone is amazing. It's like one of 3 mobile games I actually like.
Nice.
There you
Nice. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Good on you. It's awesome. Hearthstone is amazing.
Bought
All
and
right.
was really disappointed.
Game
by.
really hyped for, total letdown.
Final Fantasy VII the remake.
Mm.
You haven't
Mm.
played that yet.
He's already
I'm
let
just
down.
tempering my expectations.
Homeboy is already
I
Listen,
think
let
it's going to be
down.
good.
As excited as I am for it, like you guys don't understand. It's like that game was my life for a minute. I was a freshman in high school. I didn't have any other responsibilities but to pass and play video games. And Final Fantasy VII just oh gosh. And I was there for the reveal, and like there's just no way it's gonna live up to my expectations.
Yeah, that's a lot of big. That's some big shoes to fill. I agree.
So I'm getting in a time machine and I'm going forward. And I'm saying it's Final Fantasy VII remake. I'm still gonna play it, but
a lot of people aren't.
Come on,
a lot of people aren't going to be happy with me. Fallout 4.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was really excited for that. I got
it. Loved 3.
Pre-ordered it, the whole 9. Like 2 hours in, I'm like, nah, can't do it.
Nah,
can't do it. And I finished 3. That's the funny part.
And you liked 3.
And I liked 3.
You and Hall used to talk about it all the time.
Yeah, Hall was the one that let me borrow it, and I held it for like a month and played it, and it just did not do it.
Doggone it. Ed?
Borderlands, the pre-sequel.
Oh,
you're not the only one that said that too. That's
that's not good. Chris?
I honestly cannot think of a single game that I was hyped for and then it did not.
Wow.
I did still enjoy it. And I only say that because I just feel like I know myself and I can tell when I'm going to really like something or not. Now, there have been other times where I go into a game and be like, well, I don't think I'm going to like this that much. And then it turns out that I really love it. That's happened. But there's not been a game where I was like so super excited. And then I get in, I'm like, but this is not like, what? No, I don't think I've ever had that happen.
What about Anthem or one of the Battlefronts?
So when it comes to Anthem, like I was hoping that it'd be super great, but then all the Telltale stuff happened and I never pre-ordered it, so I didn't play it.
Okay. Gotcha.
And then Battlefront, I greatly enjoyed the first Battlefront, and the second Battlefront, it's not because of all the microtransaction stuff, because we didn't learn about that till after the fact.
Right.
But I didn't have any hype for the story mode.
Okay.
And I barely played any of it.
Okay.
I only wanted to play the multiplayer. Now, I guess you could say that was a little disappointing because it had all of the issues that it had, but I mean, of what I played of it, it was still fun.
Okay.
I wasn't like super let down. So I just can't think of one.
That's good. Right, that's awesome.
Cool. Fair enough.
Yeah, that's really good.
Nick Huntress in an era of easy access. Huntress, Hountress, Hountress.
Huntress.
Okay, Nick Huntress. In the era of easy access to online walkthroughs, have you ever struggled through a particularly challenging game without looking at a guide on principle of figuring it out for yourself, even if it means it might take you considerably longer?
Nope.
No struggle there.
I'm totally that guy. I'll totally struggle through it to figure it out. And I mean, I have to walk it all the way down the line before I'm like, okay, I have to go look at something.
I'm the same way. I definitely try and figure it out first and be like, oh, come on. But again, I don't have a ton of time to game. So I'm like, if it's getting close to me having to shut it down, I'm like, all right, let's just look this up and figure it out.
There you go.
The only time I haven't resorted to online help is with The Witness. And that is why I haven't finished The Witness.
That's exactly right.
I wouldn't even start The Witness without, okay, YouTube, how do you start this?
Yep.
YouTube, how do you start this? Oh my
Press God. X to start. Yep. I love it.
That's funny. I like it.
All right, Matt Galeza? Moving. Do it yourself or hire a company?
I've never hired a company.
I've never hired a company either. I have friends. They help, but I don't.
Yep.
Hire a freaking company.
Yeah.
I got a guy. If you got, Matt, where are you? I don't know where you are, but I got a guy. He's a good buddy of mine.
I will say this. If I were moving across the country or across like to a different state or something, a really large move, then I probably would do that as well. But I've never just moved, but 20 minutes this way, if that at max. And so, no, I've not hired.
Ed, you hired a company when you moved to.
Yeah. When we moved from Pennsylvania to Indiana, we hired a company. But yeah, like Chris said, if it was a local move, we'd move ourselves.
Tim, you hired a company
I moved
for
a
down
stone's
the street.
throw away, and I still hired a company. But here's the thing.
The balloon install's been killing it.
I know, right? So here's the thing. So I'm an Army brat, so I come from an Army family. So when we moved, like they would move us anyway, but we'd still have to do most of the packing. So I'm done with the whole packing thing. I've done that throughout my life.
They packed the whole house? Is that how that works?
No. I still have to pack it, but just the as long as I just put it in a box, label it, boom, then they take it out. All the furniture, everything, give that to them. Let them handle it.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know anything about that life.
There are some companies that will come in and pack everything for you. It is super expensive.
Yeah.
But if I ever win the lotto, I'm definitely doing that if I have to move somewhere, because that's baller. But B, like, I hate moving. I never want to do it again.
There you go.
But I have a buddy of mine, and he gave me an amazing deal, and he's really good. And so, yeah, Matt, hit me up, man.
That's awesome.
All right, we're gonna end with a good one from Miss Stacy McCracken.
Oh, shout out!
What is something that gets you tickled every time? For me, it's the nieces and nephews laughing.
Oh, man.
I love that. That's a sweet sound, isn't it?
They tickled me last time I was there, boy. Shoot, we were laughing hard, boy. Shoot, we were laughing
Have
hard.
another jalapeno.
Yeah, go ahead, try it. Oh, what gets me tickled every time? I mean, Dave Chappelle. Like, he can literally be talking about anything. And I just think he is so funny. I think he's smart. I love the way he thinks about things, and the way he comes at it is just so funny to me. And so, yeah, I'm going to go with Chappelle. He tickles me every time, for sure. Ed?
Every once in a while, when we're recording this podcast, something will strike Chris funny, and he won't say anything. He'll just kind of real soft kind of giggle. And like right there, he just did it.
That one.
That gets me every time.
I love that. That's nice.
Really good.
Christopher?
I mean, it's probably not fair to say every time, but the vast majority of the times it's dad jokes.
Yes.
I can just,
Right.
I will just laugh my head off and just reading them, the ones that I've saved.
You love
just
it.
laugh. And I don't care. I don't, and also that, and just saying lines from a movie with no context because somebody led you down a way, and just or singing a song lyric and they don't understand. I just get so much joy from that. It just will make me so happy inside.
That's funny.
Oh my gosh.
I quote Anchorman all the time. That movie, if it's on, I will sit there and watch it. It just gets some of the lines in there, just gets me every time.
Mm-hmm.
Chris,
I love it.
Chris, did you know what the drummer called his twin daughters?
I do not know that.
Anna 1, Anna 2.
Oh, nice.
Anna.
There it is. I got it.
I will go down such a rabbit hole just watching dad joke YouTube videos. Oh,
yeah.
It's the best.
Do you think you've heard them all, Chris? Because I feel like when I look for them,
don't.
I start to see the same ones over and over again.
Yeah, I definitely will run into that. But there's like, even to this day, I think the last time that I did it was Friday of last week.
Oh my God.
I still found ones that I had never heard before. And I was like, that's good. And then I've seen stuff in the jokes channel that we have on the Discord that I had not heard before.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. Did you hear
Oh no.
Did you hear about the chameleon that couldn't change color?
No.
He had a reptile dysfunction.
Oh, no. Man.
I love it. Gabe cracked up just as much.
Right?
And he knew the ending.
He was reading it.
Oh,
that's good.
Okay.
I think that's one of the best ones, man.
Yeah.
I love that. That's amazing.
Did you hear about the janitor at Target? Some kids went in and just like shoved everything off of the shelves only in one area, and the janitor had a wrecked aisle in function.
Jeez.
Oh gosh. Gabe is crying right now.
Rectile. Because his eye was wrecked.
This is the greatest way to end the questions right now.
Can that be my job, just to listen to those all day?
Yeah. We'll get you hired at like a Hallmark card making place or something.
I know. Like, I just need to be the one that approves. Like, yeah, you can go with that one. That one's good.
That'll work. Oh my gosh.
That's good stuff. That is it for all the questions. Thank you, everybody. Thanks, guys, for the additional dad jokes. That was amazing.
Oh my gosh. Okay. All right.
That's good.
April can't get here fast enough where we do dad jokes every week for Christmas Kraken. It's Dad Joke Month, April.
Oh, that's good.
Oh gosh.
You need to lay down.
The abs are burning.
Yeah, I'm dizzy. The question for you guys is, what is your perfect gaming evening? Is it to play alone, to play with people, headphones, speakers? What kind of food are you eating? Are you on the television? Are you on like a, huge, movie screen? Can you guys describe your perfect gaming evening, Chris McCracken?
The perfect gaming evening would be something that is multiplayer. You can just pick whatever game it is, but that I'm playing with at least a couple of friends, preferably like a bigger group. Like back in the day when we would do a raid, or when we've played with a big group playing Overwatch, or even a slightly smaller group playing like Apex or Call of Duty or something else. And I just want to play a multiplayer game and just hang out. And then as far as like food, like I'm not going to have any food. I'm not really like a eat while I game kind of person, but I like to have, especially if it's in the evening, I like to unwind. I like to have an adult beverage. It just makes things even more giddy, and I just end up having a lot of fun. There's almost never a time where I've gamed with friends and not had a good time.
There you go.
That's great.
Tim?
Mine is lights out,
Yep.
headphones on, watching the TV, and it's usually solo campaigns. Like when I was going through the Spider-Man stuff, it was just late night, just running and gunning through it all, and I had a ball. It was great.
There you go. Edward?
Cup of coffee, Overwatch for a few hours with friends, and then more Borderlands with Sarah.
That's
there
amazing.
you go.
Yep. You have that often.
Yeah.
Mine is it's a little bit of a toss-up because I am a solo guy. I love solo things, but I would preferably like my wife and children to be like somewhere so I don't feel so guilty about it.
Right.
And then I'm a surround sound guy. I love feeling the bass under my feet. On the television, I also don't snack when I play, but I wouldn't mind having some kind of beverage. Adult beverage sounds great.
Yep.
And I think
White Russian.
Yeah, I'll take a White Russian. Yeah, sure. I think it's okay. So it's really hard because I haven't laughed as hard playing video games than when we played Jackbox at 200 and 300. Like,
yeah,
that was that was so fun. Oh my gosh. But if you can get in a party of guys and decimate, like if we're all got in a party with guys and gals and we're all chatting and we're all having a good time and our team is just like ruining the other team on Overwatch or whatever it is, that's pretty amazing too.
Yeah.
That's a good feeling.
Yeah, that's a good night. That's a good night. Give us your perfect gaming evening. We'd love to hear about it, and we will read them next week. Thank you guys so much for being here. I'm Gabe Patillo. That is Tim Router. That is Ed Placencia. That is Chris McCracken. And we are married to the games, and we are up out this thing.